Reverse onto my mat. Sitting down, coming to a nice comfortable sit.
Well, I wish I could do that.
Yeah, okay, let's work on that then. Let's work on that. So sitting up tall, finding that nice, you know when you've got that connection, when it's just right, because you can sit there feeling a little bit almost on edge, and then as soon as you move and find that connection between your sit bones and the floor, whatever you're sitting on, ultimately the floor, and you let your spine just settle, but at the same time lengthen. It's just a different feeling. You just come into that nice, peaceful, yoga space. So shoulders, give them a little bit of a wiggle. Let's round them, take them round, and then the other way. Take them clockwise and anti-clockwise. Listening out for any little nice crunchy bits. And then one shoulder up and one shoulder down. So one towards your ear, one elbow going down towards the ground. And then switch, nice and slow. So you're like a little bit of a seesaw, shoulder seesaw. So you're all scrunched up on one side, lengthening. And then we're swapping around. And we're going to do a little bit of a twist. So taking your hands, right hand, left knee, or the other way around to start. One hand on the floor behind you to help you be tall and long, crown of the head lifting up, and at the same time, nice little bit of a twist there. And then come round, let's go on to the other side. Breathing. And back to center. Just shake your wrists out, hands out, get a little bit of energy going there. And then bringing your legs into Baddha Konasana. So the soles of your feet together, just that lovely connection. It's like when you put your hands together. It's just something special that happens there when you're so connected with yourself. So the same with your feet, just feeling that connection of the soles of your feet touching together, and then dropping your knees out to the sides, or maybe giving them a gentle helping hand if that's appropriate for you. And during your practice today, remember that it's your practice, so make it yours. Do what works for you. If it doesn't work for you, bring in an adaptation, or just come to balasana and rest. So heels pulling in, knees drawing out, and then lengthening to the spine, crown of the head up tall, a little bit of length in the torso. So find your comfort here, let your feet be where they can be freely, because we're going to do our breath work here today. And we are going to come into Surya Vedana. So the hand mudra is the same, it's Vishnu mudra, it's the same as for Nadi Shodhana, alternate nostril breathing. And it is alternate nostril breathing that we're going to be doing, but it's just on one side. So we're going for the sun side. So we're going to be blocking. Actually, no, we're not. We're not going to do that breath work. We're going to come into Nadi Shodhana, because I know that balance was something that we wanted to be looking at. So we're going to do both. We're not going to just go moon and sun. We're going to do opening up the whole body and balancing. So let's come into blocking the right nostril. Left is open. Left hand is relaxed. Let's take a breath out of the mouth for the last time. And then inhale. Switch, exhale. 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 Inhale. And carry on. Switch to exhale and go at your own pace. This is your opportunity to lengthen the out breath. Keeping the in-breath slow and steady and consistent throughout. Last round. One last round here. Still at your own pace, deepening each breath, lengthening the breath. And then when you're ready, relaxing your arms down to your lap, to your knees, extending the solar plexus forwards and upwards, the heart center forwards and upwards, a little lift of the chin, crown of the head up, closing your eyes, breathing slowly and deeply and appreciating that sensation of feeling the breath coming and going through both nostrils at the same time. Take that breath right to the back of your head, to the back of your skull. Noticing that sensation of the breath coming and going. And at the same time, bringing to mind your sankalpa or your intention for your practice for today. And then gently coming back. You've held for a long time in Baddha Konasana. I know that can be a lot into the hips. So let's extend the legs forward. And then give your knees a very gentle lift and wiggle. Relaxing the thighs, maybe taking the hands behind and leaning back a little. Giving yourself some space in the hips. And following on from that, we're going to come to lying on the mat. So bring yourself to lying on your mat, because we're going to do a little bit of a counter posture. So feet flat to the floor, we're coming into Setu Bandhasana, bridge posture, as it's known in gymnastics. So feet are nice and flat, and then starting to put some pressure into the feet. And as you put that pressure in, feel your lower back curling off the mat. So you're lifting your pelvis, tilting the pelvis, engaging your thighs. And as you continue to push the floor away with your feet, letting that midsection of your body rise, slowly bringing yourself into that bridge. Arms are flat to the floor, hands, well, fingertips pointing towards your heels or close to your heels. Head and neck in line. And then lifting to wherever feels appropriate for you. Keeping that length in your spine. Sending your hip bones up towards the sky. A little bit of engagement in your glutes, in your thighs. And that sensation of drawing your knees together. So you're activating muscles on the outer edge, outer sides of your legs. Bringing your knees in towards each other as you squeeze your glutes to lift. And then we're slowly lowering. Keeping all that nice engagement that you've got in the legs, Relaxing through your jaw and your shoulders, slowly lowering all the way down. The last thing to come down, the last things are your lower back, and then you allow your hips to just settle into their natural position here. Bringing your knees into your chest, giving yourself a hug. And if you've been doing any exercise recently, maybe running, jogging, walking, or just doing lots in your life, this is going to feel really lovely. This kind of uncurling and curling of the spine. And then let's take the feet flat to the floor again. And we'll come up into Supta Bandhasana one more time. So setting yourself up, palms facing down, shoulders are broad and wide, jaw relaxed, heart center relaxed and open. And then starting to feel that engagement in your toes, in the pads of your feet, in the heels, as you uncurl your spine from the ground, lifting up. And lifting all the way up as high as you can, pressing your feet into the floor, squeezing your thigh muscles, your glutes, knees, bringing them together. Remembering to breathe, and through your practice, remember to breathe today. Take your breath right down into your belly, into your back, into your sides. Maybe you want to practice a little ujjayi breathing with that little constriction in the base of the throat and the neck. So we're here in our bridge, bringing the knees together now. And then slowly lowering back down. Lowering all the way to the mat. Letting the floor hold you, bringing your knees in. This time, separate your knees a little. So you've got right hand, right knee, left hand, left knee. And then just pull your knees aside, bringing your thighs sort of to the sides of your chest. And squeezing them in. A little bit of a rock from side to side. It's hard not to when you're lying in this position because it just always feels so lovely to just massage softly through the back there, the floor. And then bringing the knees together. And we're going to come up to sitting again, but just for a moment, extend your legs. Hold on either behind your thighs or your calves and gently draw your legs in towards you. So sort of like a upside down Paschimottanasana. This lovely stretch down the backs of the legs. I'm sure you're feeling this. I am. Drawing your legs, allowing your hips to come off if they want to come off. And if appropriate for you, if you love plow, if halasana is a good asana for you, then bring yourself into halasana for a moment, lifting your hips off the floor, sending your feet backwards. Otherwise, gently staying here, keeping a little tiny bend in the knees. Remembering to breathe. And then dropping your feet back down. So we're going to rock to come up. If that doesn't work for you, just come to your side and come up to sitting. But otherwise, take your feet back and gently come back up. Oops, losing a headphone. Bringing yourself round. We're going to come into a squat. So bring yourself into whichever version of squat is the most comfortable for you. Go to your comfortable, easy one. I think today for me, it is this standard posture that you'll see everywhere in India, people sitting and waiting for buses or selling things in the market. It's just such a comfortable posture for so many people. And if it's not something that you do every day in your life, that is kind of hard to understand that it can be so easy. But practice and all is coming. That is yoga, practice and all is coming. So feet wherever it works for you, either on toes or flat-footed. Just staying here, getting that nice compression in the groin, that softness in the spine, remembering to breathe whichever way works for you. A little bit of constriction or free and open, but always in through the nostrils and out is nostrils or mouth, but always in through the nostrils and slowing the out breath as much as you can. So we're here in our squat, and then we're going to start to take the feet a little further away from each other, out to the sides. So stepping the feet out. Here you might like to bring your hands to the floor or maybe up, and we're just going to be doing a little bit of rock and roll, rocking from side to side, rolling on the soles of the feet. So I don't know if you can see, but I'm coming up onto toes on the side that I'm leaning on, and then coming over up onto toes the other side. So waking up the soles of the feet, getting those toes active, getting your Achilles woken up here. And at the same time, in that nice action in the knees and the hips. Not a lot in the upper body. So there, focus on your breath, really extending the breath. And then let's take the legs a little further apart. Again, stretching out. So this is quite intense in the hips, quite a big stretch in the groin. Lots of work for the knees. So work with what you have. Go with what works for you. Don't put yourself into a position where you already have a joint that's not happy and you're pushing too much. It might be that instead of just that staying low and sliding side to side, when you come over to one side, you extend the extended leg, and bring the heel down and stay here for a little while. So there we're transferring it into a nice big stretch under the leg and not so much into the knees. Yes, the extension on the bend in the bent knee, but then it's less about the movement. And then let's come over to the other side. Bring yourself over and then turning your toes up towards the ceiling and getting that nice big stretch. Arms are up or down, whatever works for you. So a nice big stretch there. And then we're going to come to the center and then come to Parigasana, gate posture. So taking your right leg down. So your right leg is on the mat and extending the left leg out to the side. Toes are pointing forwards. The back of your lower left leg is directly behind your knee. Finding this posture, just settling here. Take yourself so that your weight is dropping down into that standing bent leg. And then make sure that you're not leaning forward. So maybe just use your hands to center yourself. Lovely, well done. And then we're going to do a little bit of a side bend, not a twist. Just about to say twist. So left hand down the left leg. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, slowly folding slightly to the side. Take an inhale, taking that right arm all the way up. And then breathe gently, easily. So this is Parigasana or gate pose. Remember to engage and lift your pelvic floor in this posture, like an elevator going up or a lift. So it's engage, lift, 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 lift. Lower, 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 lower. And keep going, not just once. And then we're going to lift to come out. Nice, slow movement out. Take your hands to the floor in front, bring that left knee in, so in a kneeling posture, and then take the right leg out. Bringing yourself up, hands to hips, make sure that you are dropping your weight down in your central, not leaning over, adjust if you need to, and then the same front to back, make sure that you're not leaning forwards or leaning backwards. Take a breath here. And then we're going to slide. Take another inhale, left arm comes up. And reaching up. You'll find that that is the most wonderful stretch. All the way from just below your hip to your underarm or up to your fingertips. Continue to breathe, a little bit of a squeeze into the right side. And then let's work on that pelvic floor. Lifting all the way. And lowering all the way. And keeping that nice steady rhythm of lift and lower. You have a little more bend. And then lifting to come out. Bringing your knees together. Staying here in this high kneel. And if you need it, a little more padding for your knees, double folding the mat perhaps. I think I'm going to do that. I've always had bony knees, but I seem to be getting bonier by the day. So here we are, let's come into Ustrasana or camel. So toes are tucked under, and you can really lift your heels quite high by straightening your toes, if that helps you. You'll have less space to drop back to. And if it also helps, you can take your knees a little further apart. That also can make it a little easier. If camel is something that you do and that you're comfortable doing, then bring yourself into camel. If you'd like to go one side and then the other, do that instead. So let's start with taking the hands to the lower back and send the hips forward. So it's like you got up from doing lots of work and just doing that nice kind of, oh, I need to stretch. So it's like push into the lower back, sending the hips forward, head and neck just facing forwards, and then slowly coming back, remembering to breathe. And then we're going to do that again. So again, hands into the lower back, gently pushing forwards. This time maybe curling in the upper back a little, and then keeping your right hand there, taking your left hand to see if you can find that heel. And it might be that this is where you stay, because you prefer to do one side and then the other. Or if not, you take your right hand back, and then you might also need to be leaning back from the knee to find that space, to find that room, to give yourself the reach backwards. If you come on just to the left, now switch to the right. Otherwise, if you're here in full Ustrasana, you might feel like dropping your head back. Keep a little bit of engagement in your glutes, get your lower back, softness through the belly. And then coming back safely. Continuing, releasing your feet out behind you and bringing yourself into Balasana. So a nice counter pose. So feet together, knees together, thighs together, and then lift your chest and lower over. Nice and slowly, you'll feel that in your back, forehead to the mat. And take your hands beside your body, palms of the hands facing upwards. Softness in your shoulders now. Just let go of any tension in your shoulders. You might find that you feel your shoulder blades are moving away from each other. Enjoy that space in the upper back, in the mid back. A softness through the neck. And your jaw, maybe smiling. Why not? Smiling is lovely. Remembering to breathe. Take yourself back to your sankalpa if your mind is wandering to other things outside the mat. And then slowly bringing yourself up, hands to the floor, slide them away, tuck your toes under, and let's come into an inversion. It's time for an inversion. Toes under, downward facing dog. Ardha Mukha Svanasana, shoulders are wide, hips are high, heels are down or heading down, and pushing the floor away, so long in the back. Head and neck free, soft forehead, relaxed jaw, tilted pelvis, so sit bones up towards the ceiling, and a heavy softness around the feet. Here we can breathe, nice, slow, steady, unhindered breaths, filling up under your arms, into your back, right down into your belly, releasing each breath as slowly as you can. And then looking forwards, bringing yourself all the way forward so your chest is above your hands, walking your feet or wiggling your feet back, coming into a nice strong plank position. And then we're going to take the hips down towards the ground. So make sure you have enough space between your hands and arms to bring your body forwards, keeping your body off the mat, still just toes on the mat. Change your the distance for your feet if you need to. And we're here in our upward facing dog. Shoulders are wide. And then slowly we're coming back to downward facing dog. Lots of strength required there. Come out how works for you. If you need to come to the floor first, come to the floor first. Again, wide shoulders, tilted pelvis, stretching through the whole of the backs of your legs. Soft jaw, neck, engaged fingers, pushing the floor away. And then again, looking forward, bringing yourself forward. This time, taking your knees into a hover. So letting your knees almost touch the mat, but not quite. Hover, 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 still hover. Remember to breathe. And then taking your knees down to the mat. Release your feet out behind, so back, tops of the feet are flat to the floor, And we're going to come into a thread the needle. We haven't done this for a while. So stay onto your left hand, right hand comes off, and then you thread it through that space and bring your torso down. So as you bring your torso down, try not to twist over to the left side. Stay central. Just bring the top of that shoulder towards the mat and then lower yourself down. So your body stays roughly kind of where it was. It's just that nice stretch into the shoulder, into the top of the arm. Bottoms up in the air. Legs are relaxed. And breathe, bringing your head down to the mat, resting your head on the mat. So there's really no tension in the left arm anymore. But there's quite a big squish squash going on in the top of your right arm. Breathing here. I think we're doing this posture today because I was doing some sewing yesterday. There could be a connection. Thread the needle. But I was also having a yoga conversation with someone who said they liked this posture, so it could also be a bit of that. Breathing. And then starting to feel a little pressure into the left palm. Beginning to activate that left arm and bringing yourself up. Take a deep breath. Exhaling when you're ready. Take an inhale. And on the exhale, let's come into the other side. So again, sending that right, left hand now all the way through, lying onto the top of the upper arm and bringing your head down to the mat. If you're comfortable here and you feel like you have balance, close your eyes, focus on the breath. Think about keeping your hips level. Breathe. And then let's push into the right. Get that strength there, lifting away. And then coming back, sitting back on your heels, coming into hero pose or diamond pose. So you are on your heels. If heels doesn't work for you, bringing your feet out to the sides, taking your bottom to the floor. And if neither of those work for you, for your hips, for your knees, for your ankles, then come into Sukhasana. But otherwise, you're in a kneeling position. Taking your arms out to the sides. So imagine you're trying to squeeze and hold a pencil between your shoulder blades. So take them closer and closer and closer together, taking the palms of your hands, taking the backs of your hands as far behind you as you can. The palms are going too, but it kind of feels better to think about the palms going, the backs of your hands going backwards. And breathe. So got that real tightness in the shoulders, squeezing backwards, crown of the head lifted up. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Lift your pelvic floor at the same time. And then release off very slowly, bringing your arms all the way around, maybe exhaling here. Bringing them around as far as you can. So I want you to spread out your right hand, take it round as far behind you as you can, and then place it really wide onto your left shoulder blade. And the same with the left hand onto your right shoulder. Inhale, up tall. Exhale, tuck your chin, gently dropping a little, grounding through the back, curling in through the belly, closing your eyes. Continuing to breathe here. with the in-breath as you exhale, not letting go of that hold on your shoulders, helping that big stretch through the upper back. And then we're going to do a nice big inhale when you're ready, opening up the arms again and taking them back into that nice open position. This time we're going to raise the chin a little, so set up the shoulder blades first, hands moving backwards, and then lift the chin and look up. So not just the chin though, we want the chin to be taking the heart center too, so think about them being joined, and as you lift your chin, you also lift the heart center, so you've got lots of space in the front of the body, all really open, beautifully open in the front of the body. And remember, if your feet start being uncomfortable, change your position. And then last one here, making sure that you've got a little bit of inhale there. And as you exhale, bringing the arms back. If you can remember which one went on top last time, send it to the bottom this time. I can never remember. And then curling round, finding that nice space. Closing your eyes. Using the breath, deep, slow, steady breaths. Really feeling the movement in the chest as you breathe. And then bringing yourself back up to center. And we're going to release. So you're coming up into standing finally. So feet down to the floor, coming into that kneel, head coming down, hips coming up into our Uttanasana, easy forward bend, uncurling to stand all the way up. Taking the legs wide, coming into Trikonasana. So a little bit more on hips and torso, taking the right foot, turning the right toes to the narrow end of your mat. Left foot stays at about 45 degrees, whatever is comfortable for you. Always feel free to keep adjusting the left foot. Up tall, hands on hips, just find that nice center for yourself. And then let's extend the arms out again. Taking your chin to your right shoulder. And we're going to do a little bit of just holding here for a moment. Breathing in and lifting the pelvic floor. And then as we exhale, we're going to descend those right fingertips forwards and come down into triangle, into Trikonasana. Trikonasana is not a huge movement. It needs to be slow and subtle and gentle, because what we don't want when we overextend, when we overtry the triangle, we can come out of alignment so easily and quickly and not realize. So you do need to imagine that you are between two panes of glass and you don't want to touch either of them. So you can't fold forward and you can't bend backwards and you can't send your hips behind you. You need to be in line. And that might mean that it's not much of a bend. That's okay. It will come. Practice and all is coming. And then let's lift to come out. Keeping the arms up. Change feet. Left foot going out now, toes to the narrow end. Right foot coming to wherever it needs to come to. Take a breath. Engage your pelvic floor. Chin over to the left shoulder now. And then sending the left hand forwards before taking the left hand down, right hand coming up. If you like to, you can lean on that left shin, or you can have your hand just gently touching your lower leg, or you can have your hand off altogether. Whatever works for you. Let's see if you can keep that engagement in your pelvic floor so you're not pushing down on your pelvic floor, putting unnecessary pressure there. Remembering to breathe nice and deep. Checking your alignment. And then a nice big lift to come out. Taking your hands to your hips, feeling that kind of movement that's just happened around your hips. Feet forwards or maybe slightly out to the sides, whatever feels good. Hands to hips, and then we're coming into Prasarita Padapasana. So sending the hips out, back is straight and long, head extending forwards. And this is a really nice place to lift your pelvic floor. And then folding forward, coming into a nice rest, folding your arms around each other. And letting the weight of your arms and your head gently stretch through your side body, back and front. A little bit of lift in the knees, not locking the legs, especially if you're hypermobile. And breathing. Another nice long, steady breath here. And then uncurling to come up, hands extending down, all the way back up. Standing. I'm going to come into a nice lunge now. So taking your right toes to the narrow end of your mat, turning your hips all the way as well. So notice what you need to do with your back foot, or let it just do what it wants to do. Make sure you've got enough space between your legs so they're not stacked up directly one in front of the other. That will make it hard to balance. So hips are nice and strong here. You've got space in the hips. And we're going to bend that right knee. And you might need to step the left foot back, or you might want to walk the right foot forward. I think I need to step my left foot back a bit, and then coming into that lovely lunge. Use your thigh for support, use your arms. A lovely long lunge. And that will feel hopefully like a big, delicious opening in that left hip. This is a long, strong lunge, and then let's take the torso down over the right thigh, hands to the mat, taking a little bit of that pressure and weight off, but maybe you've got a bit more movement there. Remembering to breathe. And then strong in the legs again, coming away from that torso, coming back up, and then turning the feet forwards and all the way over to the other side. That was a bit quick, do it at your own pace. Mine was a bit quick because I was about to topple over and unbalance. So then lowering yourself down. Finding that opening, finding that stretch. Bringing your torso over your extended right leg, your bent right leg. It's not really extended. It's the back leg that's extended, isn't it? Making sure that you've got a bit of length in that back leg. And breathe. Coming back up again. Bringing yourself back to center, straightening both legs. Keeping that distance if it works for you. One more time into Prasarita Padottanasana, this time sliding your hands down each leg. So right hand, right leg, left hand, left leg.
all the way down as far as they'll go, and allowing your torso to come into complete soft relaxation and rest here. Breathing in through your nostrils, out through your mouth, lifting your pelvis, lengthening through the backs of your legs, gentle bend in your knees, softening through your heart center. If you feel you need to move, then the invitation to move is there for you. It might look like a little bit of rocking in the hips, extending through the legs with a little bit of bent knee. It might be that you want to interlace your arms and sway your torso from side to side. Let's nod the head. Yes. Shake the head. No. A little bit of rocking the head from side to side. And then taking the hands to the floor by your head, walking your feet in, coming back into that Uttanasana that we started with, easy forward bend. And from here, we're going to come into Utkatasana, chair posture. So taking that space in your back and preserving it, just bending the knees and lifting the head, lifting the arms. And back into that imaginary chair. Give yourself some length in your lower back. Well done. And then slowly, slowly, all the way down, back into that squat. And extending your legs out in front of you, coming to sitting on your mat. Give yourself some space. Make sure you're in the middle of your mat. And then slowly extending your arms out, rolling back. Rolling down towards the mat. Going at whatever speed works for you. And when you get down to the mat, just taking a breath. Well done. Just letting the floor hold you for a moment. And then bringing your knees up, feet flat to the floor. Lift your pelvis and pop your lower back onto the mat. And then taking your knees over to the right side, extending your arms out either side of you. Coming into final spinal twist. Taking your left ear down towards the mat. Enjoy that lovely stretch all the way along your spine, into the hips. A lot in hips today. In hips, well, I guess it was in the hips, in and around and about the hips. And then coming back to center of the head. Gently back to center of your knees and straight over to the other side. Maybe a nice and gentle exhale. And bringing that twist all the way up into your head and neck. Always, always make this spinal twist just right for you. taking a breath in. As you exhale, bringing yourself back to center, legs then head, hands and arms wrapped around your knees, a gentle rock from side to side. Making sure that your hips are lifted and you've got space just to be you. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. So squeeze your knees into you. Bring your forehead up. And release. Bringing yourself into Shavasana. Finding whatever it is that you need to be comfortable here and taking a position that is comfortable. So Shavasana, final resting pose, I always invite everybody to make the most of the space available. Think starfish. You have space, spread out, let there be circulation and movement around the groin, around your ankles, under your arms. Relax your head and your neck. And do a scan around your whole body, noticing where you're holding on to tension. Breathing gently, softly, easily. Staying in your Shavasana. Relaxing through the soles of your feet. And then letting that sense of ease and softness and peace flow upwards like a wave through your ankles, lower leg, knees, thighs, hips, belly, chest, your hands and wrists, and lower arms, elbows, upper arms, shoulders, and especially into your neck, the back of your neck, the whole of your spine, your jaw, your mouth, your cheeks and your nose and your ears, your eyes, and your forehead, the whole of the back of your scalp. And with every in-breath, taking yourself a little deeper into that state of soft, gentle, peaceful, calm. Every in-breath filling up with light and warmth and a sense of ease, a sense of being at one with yourself, at peace with yourself, knowing that you are who you are meant to be and you are where you're meant to be. And with every out-breath, letting go. Just letting go. We all carry so much rubbish around with us. Let go. Don't carry it. Put it down somewhere. Let it blow away in the breeze. Worries, niggles, little things that eat away at you. Just let them go. With every out-breath, you make space. You make so much internal space available for all the good things that the universe is giving you all the time. The light, the flowers, the leaves, the friendships, the kindnesses, it's all there.
right in front of you. Make space, let go of anything you're holding on that doesn't allow you to see the beauty of the world, the joy in your own world. And taking a breath in through your nostrils, keeping that space, keeping that calm, that connection, gently coming to lie on your right side. Just noticing how you're feeling. And then gently, slowly, with an in-breath and an out-breath, coming up to sitting. Eyes closed, keeping that space, bringing your hands to heart center. Gently dropping your chin to your chest. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, opening your eyes. When you're ready, gently bringing your head back up. And namaste. Thank you for joining yourself on the mat. Thank you for doing this practice with me. Thank you for your lovely energy.
Thank you, doggies. Bringing extra doggy energy.
Yeah, she couldn't quite understand why I needed both my hands at heart center, because anyway, should have been
Yeah.
just straight. Yeah.
There's one on my tummy, please, Mummy. Mummy, your hand. Oh,
Yes. How are you doing?
that's lovely. Thank you, darling.
Lovely to be practicing with you.
I realised because I've changed my strength sessions to a Monday afternoon. It's it's harder, but it feels like it's more efficacious.
Oh, that's a good word. I like that one. Yeah.
Unraveling stuff.
But yeah, I've just started going to the gym and doing some longer jogs. Jogs, not quite the right word. Enthusiastic walks, I think. And so I notice it when I'm teaching more as well. It's lovely. Turn that on.